Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Friday, the 30th day of December, 2022. It is Friday of the octave of Christmas, and it is the 6th day of Christmas. However, today, because there is no Sunday that intervenes between Christmas Day and New Year's Day, we get to move the Feast of the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph today to Friday. So it's the 6th day of the octave of Christmas, but it is also, we celebrate today the Feast of the Holy Family so that we can move into celebrating Mary, the Mother of God, on January the 1st. So it doesn't become the 31st because then that kind of conflicts with Mary, the Mother of God, and the Feast of the Holy Family should have its full day. So it gets a full day today. This is also why Epiphany is on the 8th and the baptism of Jesus is going to be on the 9th, on Monday, to conclude the Christmas season. Again, very complicated this year. But we remember the Holy Family. Still in Manhattan, still in New York City, and as you can see behind me, St. Paul's Chapel and the Freedom Tower behind me. The wonderful thing about these places, and I'm going to walk over here, hopefully not causing too much attention coming my way, but it's New York, so anything can happen here. The interesting thing about St. Paul's Chapel is that it is the one of the very few colonial structures that still exist in Manhattan, because most of it was torn down so that you could build all of these wonderful skyscrapers that now populate most of the most of Manhattan. In fact, all of New York City. It's kind of like Raleigh and North Carolina, where there was kind of very little colonial history because there wasn't much that ever happened in North Carolina except for cotton and tobacco. But St. Paul's Chapel, 1700s, mid 1700s, a part of Trinity Church, the Trinity Church complex, which goes back to the 1600s. When the Dutch came, they were here for. There was a church there, but then the English came and threw them out, and then they were granted. The English were granted a land ownership, and so they could build a Trinity Church there. I think William III was the one who did it. But the church has two buildings, basically, and sort of like our cathedral in Raleigh has the cathedral, and then it also has Sacred Heart Church. So the Trinity Church is the one that's on Wall Street itself by the Stock Exchange, and then St. Paul's Chapel, which is a little bit nicer than Trinity Church, is up this way by the World Trade Center. So the graveyard. Again, it's always very interesting in the middle of Manhattan that you have this very colonial graveyard that kind of situates itself right in the midst of all the hustle and bustle of the top part of the financial district, and so it's very plain inside. There isn't much in there. It is part of the Episcopal Church, and so, but it's colonial in that regard, in a sense where there's not much decoration, but it is quite lovely inside if you ever get down here to be able to see it. So here the back end, the great tower of St. Paul's Chapel. Again, not much to see colonially in New York City, so it's kind of nice when there is still some evidence that this was a colonial city. And again, New York begins in the lower part of it, in the lower tip of it, and then begins to move up as it grows. And so you have all of this. So a lot of time basically spent talking about St. Paul's Chapel, but Feast of the Holy Family. We remember the Holy Family not because they were perfect. In fact, they were far from perfect. They had a lot of issues, and they trying to understand themselves and trying to understand what it meant to be the family that has not just born the Messiah, Mary having done so, yes, but now responsible for kind of raising the Messiah and then allowing the Messiah to become who he is meant to become. Never an easy task. And so again, we're asked in our own families, in our own ways, to kind of remember the fact that family is never easy. And it perhaps isn't supposed to be easy because there is a lot that goes into it and a lot that is asked about being family. And family, again, changes and transforms and is fluid in a lot of different ways. There are bloodlines, yes, but then there are also the relationships that we form when we bond with each other. Again, always moving us to that sense of unity that finds its root, that finds its source, that finds its core in God, and that is what we as believers are supposed to help the world to understand, help the world to see. Community is one thing, family is another. And while not every community is a family, nor should every community be a family, those communities that can become impacted or affected by understandings of family, by the sense of standing by one another, standing with each other, standing for each other, are signs, again, of Christ's presence among us, of God's presence among us, and something that we often do not consider perhaps enough or think about. And so in this time of the year in which there is, again, so much focus upon what family is, what family should be, and the ups and downs of it, and sometimes the disappointments that can happen within this, we are supposed to remember this Holy Family, and again, what it is that they endured sometimes, and how it is that they persevered, more importantly, and what it meant for them to become this great sign and this great wonder of a God who thinks that family is important, who understands the importance of family, who asks us to grow together in care and concern for one another, that displays and reveals the best attributes of what it means to be family. It is, again, never an easy task, and in today's readings we basically hear of Joseph being told to take Jesus, to Egypt, because Herod is going to massacre other children. And again, always that question: why aren't those children saved, and why is just Jesus saved? And doesn't that seem really rude of God and insensitive of God to do that? And again, also then showing that when they come back from Egypt, they are told to go and settle in Galilee and not to return to Jerusalem or to Bethlehem, which again in Matthew's gospel would point to the fact that Mary and Joseph were from that area originally and not necessarily from Galilee, as they seem to be from Luke. Again, this sort of conflation of stories, and again the different understandings, different ideas about them, all part of this great infancy narrative, where basically God comes to share our life, comes to share our reality and our truth, comes to share our hopes and our dreams, our challenges and our victories, all those things that make us human, including the great gift of family God participates in, to show again how holy, how wonderful, how glorious it is to be connected and to be a part of each other's lives. A continued blessed Christmas, St. Francis and people of God, and may the Lord give you his peace.